Chicago Tomahawk. Got a little bit of news for everybody, and we're going to talk some playoff hockey. Top thing that everybody already knows by now, but David Carl um, did not want to come to the Blackhawks. I don't think that it's typically like a like a hockey thing. I think it's more of like maybe a he has total control in Dallas, and he wouldn't have that here. And to be honest with you, a lot of coaches they don't have that at the NHL level. I think Tortorella was probably had a lot of control. I think in Columbus, but typically that's not the deal. And Mike Sullivan got picked up by the Rangers. And but I'll be honest with you, I think the Rangers are in worse shape than the Blackhawks are. Man, they've got guys. They have good players getting older. They have guys that they are paying money to that are not living up to that paycheck, and they've got draft picks that are not living up to their draft number. So, Matt, really quickly before we dive into the NHL NHL playoffs, what do you, what do you think that drew Mike Sullivan to New York?
I think he had a former history there. I believe he was an assistant coach in 2013. And the whole original six thing, I think, dude. I think the big city got the spotlight, the Showtime type of thing. I think they're still a good team, just a really bad year, just kind of a confusing year in my opinion. They go from the President's Trophy to not even making the playoffs, but I think a lot of it had to do with the whole Shesterkin deal and then the trading of your captain Truba. Zibanejad has just kind of been he's getting paid big bucks and he's just not performing like they want him to, and a couple injuries. It was a they need to hit the reset button. I still think they're a good playoff team, and all the reports and all the shows I listen to, they say Sullivan's one of the best coaches with structure, and he's the most prepared for every game. And I think that's what the Rangers needed because they just died out with Laviolette.
Yeah, it seemed like they did. What do you think about the Breadman, man? Do you think that we're kind of seeing somewhat of the, he's getting up there in age, but he's still producing. When that production goes down, I think that New York's chances go down with it.
Well, every year they get older. Like you said, the core they're not young, but they got some good defensive guy. Adam Fox is a good defenseman. They got like good position players in all the positions, which is a good thing. Uh, for me, like Keandre Miller, I picked him up in fantasy. I'm like, this guy's gonna have a monster year. He was just bad, and they need to retool. And I credit Chris Drury, dude. He took advantage. He saw his guy. He grabbed him. He didn't want anyone else grabbing him. And I was hoping Kyle Davidson would be like that when coaches are just dropping like flies. It seemed like like this
Yeah,
guy's not coming back. This guy's not coming back. Get your guy. Grab him. Now's the time.
yeah, I agree with you. Um, the Ice Sox are doing pretty well, man. I think that they're up 2-0 in their series. Colton Dock.
Your boy.
Colton Dock had a great goal the other day, man. And this kid, dude, I really I can see his spirit, man. That this kid is doing everything that he can to take his game to the next level, to be an everyday NHLer. And I think that that's something that we're really looking for out of some prospects that we've got in Rockford. I'm expecting him to have a big camp come September.
Yeah, I haven't been watching any games. My children are in sports, so I barely have time to sleep. But I've been seeing reports about the Ice Hogs. They're a big problem. It seems like these young guys are coming out to play, and it's good, man. That's always a good thing when your prospects are cooking, and it seems like some of them are ready to go to the show.
Some of these dudes, they were playing at the NHL level, right before the playoffs. So they come down to the A and they're like, the
Yeah,
game's a little bit slower for them,
it's like men's
and
league. Yeah,
yeah, it is. And you could really see it. Um, Going into the first round of the playoffs, man, I don't think that it's really disappointed. I watched the Dallas Colorado game, and
oh, awesome.
admittedly, I had Colorado and the Lightning going to the Stanley Cup Finals, dude, and they're
Same.
both bounced.
Same with
Um,
me. Yep.
Colorado, they were a team that they did everything that they had to do during the regular season to make their team better and be ready for the playoffs. And they did everything that they needed to do, and they still lost in that game seven. It's really unfortunate for them, but
Eh,
hey, I'm sure Matt Duchene and Miko Rantanen weren't feeling too
Oh
bad
my
over there
goodness.
on Dallas.
I heard when he skated by the bench when he scored that goal, the power play goal, the fourth goal.
Uh,
He said something about Colorado or something. Then the guy between the bench, I think it was Ray Ferraro. He says, "I just heard something that I cannot repeat, but it was about Colorado and it came from Miko Rantanen's mouth."
really?
So yeah, I mean, it's like a movie almost. This dude gets traded before the deadline, and there's reports like he wanted to stay and he would have took less, and Colorado's like, oh, we didn't know that, and blah blah blah, and then goes to Carolina. It doesn't work out there. They trade him to Dallas. They meet in the first round of the playoffs, and he's the guy that kind of just takes over Game 7 and just puts his old mates to the golf course. And I had Colorado too, man. They're an elite team, like you said. They did everything to get better. They were weak goaltending. They changed both of them. They wanted centers. They got uh, the kid from, actually not the kid anymore, Brock Nelson from
Winning faceoffs, man. He won like the last three
the
faceoffs in the
dude.
game
He was
yesterday.
on. He was
Yeah.
on. They got Charlie Coyle, another center. They brought in good players. Marty Nikas from with the Rantanen trade. He's been really good with McKinnon. Kale McCarr is a stud, and just it's crazy. There's two elite teams bounced out of the first round, and Colorado and then Tampa the other one. Tampa didn't even look like they were like showed up. It's
Yeah,
insane, and they're an elite team. Just
yeah,
crazy.
I was really surprised with the Lightning, man. It's in all honesty, man, I think that it's just all of this playoff success that they've had is just weighing down on these guys, weighing down on this team.
I don't know, man. I just think that Tampa is my second team. I
They
got to
looked
give credit
old.
to the Panthers. They're
Yeah,
just
I mean,
good.
I
They're
mean,
just damn good.
they did. The Florida did look really good, but it didn't look like the same Lightning team.
No, I mean Vasilevsky is very good. I still think he's the best goal in the game now, and he looked average against this team. And look at the Panthers roster. They loaded up, dude. They got Marchand, who's a playoff guy. They got, I mean, Seth Jones. I think might be a weakness on their team, but they got Aaron Ekblad back,
Yeah.
and I mean their depth is great. So I think they're going to go far. But the team that won the most in the first round was the Leafs. They don't have to deal with Florida the first round. They don't have to deal with Tampa. This is the test for them next round. This is going to be a great series, I think.
Yeah, I was really hoping Ottawa would take it to 7 games, but
Tire them out. Yeah.
yeah, to try to wear these guys down. But hey, maybe the Leafs have turned over a new leaf. I don't know.
Nah.
Pun intended.
Nah. No.
But yeah, man, I was really surprised with the Lightning. I think the Capitals, they came in, took care of business, and did what they needed to do. So got some news. The Canes, they beat New Jersey. I thought that it would have been much. I thought that they would have handled them pretty quickly. They didn't. They re-signed Frederick Anderson to a 1-year deal.
And Taylor Hall to a 3-year deal,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is I don't get that one. I
Kind of
really don't.
surprising, to be honest with you.
I don't get that one. I would have waited till after the second round loss to see what I'm going to do with my goalie.
Yeah, he's not getting any quicker, man. He used to be really fast, but I think those days are gone. Anderson, he's I just don't see it, man. I mean, he's good during the regular season, but when it comes to playoff
2015
time,
Anderson maybe
yeah,
against the Hawks he was really good that series.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But that's not who he is anymore. He
Nope.
gets hurt so often, and you would think, man, that they would be willing to give him another. Maybe they don't have anybody in the wings to kind of take over.
Well, this Russian kid, Kachenkov or whatever, something off, but he showed some pretty good. He showed like he could be a starter and it sucks when you got to watch a guy, so long, and it's like, hey, I want my shot, and then when you get your
Yeah.
shot, the team's not playing. That's how it usually is in the second round for the Canes. So I think I got Washington in this one, and at 6 for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're relentless. They have a relentless offense. Tom Wilson's a playoff guy. He
Yeah.
lives for it. He lives to be the villain, and I think he would love it. And I wish he played in that Four Nations tournament. It would have been even like Wilson. You got Hagel, and then you got the Kachuk brothers. It would have been an all-out war.
The Blues and the Jets are still playing. The Blues are up 2-1 as of
Three,
right now. Up 3-1.
three to
I
one.
think the Blues are going to take this, man. The
Yep.
Blues just seem like this type of team that they just needed to make it to the show. Now that they're there, they're a very tough team, and the Jets are looking for a way to lose it. I'm not going to say that they are because the Colorado was winning 2-0 with 10 minutes left in the third period yesterday, so I'm not going to count Winnipeg out. But the Blues just seem too tough, man.
Blues have been in playoff mode for 2 months,
Yeah,
and you know what? They kind of remind me of that 2012 Kings team where they fought to get into the playoffs and they ended up winning. I don't want them to win the cup, but the
right.
way that they're playing right now, I think Rick Bowness was on the panel between periods, and he says that there's no nonsense. If they don't have a play, it's in deep. They're putting bodies on the defensemen, and they're just wearing these guys down, and that's playoff hockey. And Hellebuck's choking. That
Yeah,
that second goal from what the side, the top of the circles, that can't go in. First goal was a little fluky, but the Jets are the Chicago Cubs of hockey before the World Series curse. But I just don't get it. They're such a good structured team, and they just can't get it together in the playoffs.
do you think that Jake Ottinger is somewhat leapfrogging Hellebuck for the goal for Team
Well, in
USA?
the playoffs, you got to say yes. Yeah, he had a good game last night. He's a good goalie. Hellebuck it's crazy. He's up for the Vesna, probably gonna win the Vesna. Up for the Hart, he could win it, but it's just like the last what I think 3 games he's been pulled in the first round. You're the top seed playing the eighth. I know it's a different world now in the playoffs, but man, he's very leaky. The term I've been hearing, very leaky and giving up fluky goals. Even in that Four Nations game against Binnington was the better goalie, and I thought that some of those goals that he let in were really bad. And today, you can't give up a goal against a fourth liner who's never scored a goal in the playoffs like that. It kills you. These softies are killing him. And
Yeah.
I'm a fan of this kid. I love when American goalies kick ass. But yeah, clearly I think Ottinger might be leapfrogging this guy if he can't get it done in the playoffs. It's sad.
Yeah. So moving on to the second round, it looks like the Knights are going to be playing the Oilers, and oh, you know what? I wanted to talk about the Oilers and the Kings, man. I thought that the
Oh,
Kings had a chance of
they
taking the
shit the bed.
Oilers this year,
Yeah.
and this has to be hard for a fan base because they get into the playoffs and they get bounced by the Oilers every year, man. I think this is 3 years in a row that this has happened.
Something's got to change. I think Rob Blake is the GM. He was a legend, man, back in the day, and I, his contract it's up. I believe. I think you got to go a new direction. I think something's got to change.
Yeah. Um, I think they're up 2-0, and then the Oilers just stormed back, man, which is crazy.
With a backup goalie.
Yeah,
Skinner's on the bench.
right.
It's crazy. I don't know. Kopitar is he got one more year left. Dowdy can't have many years left. They're still a good team. I don't know what you do. You gotta something's got to change, because if you keep running into these guys, you're falling short. I thought Darcy Kemper was okay. I think he's a Vesna candidate. I can't really blame the goaltending. It's just the Oilers just they don't quit. They're
Yeah,
McDavid just he's a machine. Draisaitl, they're machines. And even the depth showed up. Yeah, Nugent Hopkins and the other guys, Bouchard on the back end. I think Darnell Nurse scored the game winner one game, and they showed up. I give them credit.
Knights are playing the Oilers in the next round. I now that this is a completely different squad that the Oilers are going to
Oh
be
yeah.
playing. I've got the Knights in this one, man.
You know what? I had the Kings last series, and I just watched the Oilers just kind of pretty much they shit the bed the first two games, and then they just totally woke up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's going seven. I I want to pick the Knights. I for some reason this year since the Four Nations, I really enjoy watching Jack Eichel.
yeah.
I didn't realize how good of a two-way guy he was, and I know he got going late, but he looked really good in that game six against the Wild. So I think they're gonna use that momentum, and I got the Knights in seven.
Canes are playing Washington. I think Washington's going to take this in six.
Yeah, I'm with you. Five or six. I think they're just a complete team, best team I think in the NHL next to the Jets this year, and the whole story with Ovi. He's still scoring goals, and depth guys are good. Dylan Strome's a big factor on that team, former Hawks legend. Uh, yeah, I think I got the Caps in five or six for sure. I just don't like the Canes goaltending situation.
Yeah, and they're another team, man. You know, the Canes, they're another team where it seems like it's the same story every year. They have the same squad with the same players looking for a different result going into the playoffs.
I give them credit. They tried. You know, they made the big splash, and with the Rantanen deal, I give them credit. And even the year before, they went for Jake Gensel. That's ballsy. And you know they couldn't re-sign him. That sucks. This year, I like what they did better. They did it like what a couple months before the deadline. They brought in Rantanen, and they're like, hey, we got to get this guy locked up. It wasn't working. They ended up trading him, and they got a good package still. They got that young kid. What's his name? I don't know, Stohaven or something, but
Yeah.
he was their top guy, one of their top young guys. They got him, and Stan Coben, there you go. He ended up scoring some goals. It's a good future for him. He's going to be a stud there for a while, but just yeah, not resigning Rantanen hurt. And but hey, at least they went for it. I give them credit for that. I just don't like the goaltending. I never have. So I got caps in six.
Leafs are playing the Panthers. I think the Panthers might take this in five.
Yeah, this is interesting because you look at what the Panthers just did to the Lightning, and I think the Lightning are light years better than the Leafs. It could be ugly. Uh, you know, I want the Leafs to lose too because I don't want Mitch Marner to resign. I want Mitch to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll give Chicago a shot. I could try. Um, but yeah, I think the Panthers are. It's gonna be. It could be five or even a sweep.
Wow.
Just the way they're playing, man. And Bobrovsky looks solid.
All right, and we've got. I think the Blues are going to win this game. So we'll just say hypothetically speaking, Blues versus Dallas. I think this could possibly go Game Seven, because the Blues are just such a dirty blue collar team. They'll work for every single goal that they get, and Dallas is really tough, man. Wyatt Johnson, I believe, has 17 playoff goals in his career, and this kid's a freaking gamer, man. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
I really wish I wanted the Blackhawks to offer sheet him. I wanted them to offer sheet him, man. But right after they signed Rantanen, they signed Johnson really quick.
They had to.
They had to,
Yeah,
yeah,
you had to.
yeah.
And that just means you're probably looking at no Jamie Benn next year. They might have to move some guys. Yeah, he's got 17 playoff goals in 45 playoff games. I believe he's what 22. I think he's
Yeah.
21 years old.
Oh my gosh,
21
dude.
years old.
What? He's got that
Uh,
dog in him, dude.
and then they got a stud, a top 10 player in Rantanen. They got Jason Robertson, a 40-goal guy. Rupe Hintz.
But he's hurt. Robertson's hurt right now.
He'll be back, I bet you. He'll be back. This rest is good for him. Blues are tough, though. They play a tough, like you said, blue-collared game. It's going to be physical. But I think the Stars could play that. if they want to, and they can play the skill game. They're really good. They're due to win a cup. It's been even the Pavelski years. I thought at least they'd get one, and I think it's kind of working out. Like I think their biggest test was the Avalanche, and now I think if anything, you're looking at it like, hey, we just knocked out the best team in the playoffs in the West. We should have no problem with these guys. So I got Dallas in 6.
Wow. Okay.
Even if it is the Jets or the Blues, I got Dallas no matter what. So
If it's the Jets, I'm going to put Dallas in 5. If it's the Blues, I'm going to put Dallas in 7.
it's good prediction.
So going forward, man, I think that the NHL playoffs, dude, is I think that it's living up to the hype of what we want as hockey fans. I just don't think that they're really getting this out there, man. Like getting these matchups. Like I was watching TV today. I was watching just a little bit of ESPN. They should have been showing highlights from this Dallas versus Colorado game all over ESPN, and they weren't. Like I don't know what the NHL needs to do, but they need to do something where they can be on a network that people are going to see, and that people are going to see these highlights. Like that Johnston goal yesterday was incredible. Renton, swerving into the right and going left and getting that first goal with like 10 minutes left was, and he went bar down, top shelf. That was a great goal, and I'm not seeing that anywhere like on TV. Do you think that the NHL is doing a good job of getting of getting the kind of the game out there right now?
Well, I mean they're giving they got a partnership with ESPN. They should be doing it, and unfortunately TNT does a better job. Even
Yeah,
the panels are better. The
yeah,
panels are more entertaining. You can only take enough of PK and Mark Messier and the other douche, but I I
yeah,
I mean as people like Biz, they hate him. At least he's entertaining.
yeah.
And usually you bring on a good guest. Sometimes it's Lundqvist, it's Rick Bonus today. Anson Carter's always good. The host Liam, he's all right. He's kind of a little penis sometimes, but uh, they have the great one on there too, and
Yeah.
they're entertaining. They're just like normal dudes talking hockey. There's no like script. You know what I mean? ESPN's a little scripted. PK is good. I like PK. Mark Messier. He's all there. We understand. You won a lot of cups. He always lets us know. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
always been
does.
this way. It's always been this way. Hockey's always been in the shadow of the NBA and all that. I don't watch. I haven't watched a basketball game since the Jordan days, so it's been a long time.
I think that they could. I just think that they could do a better job of getting this out there. I mean, it's so entertaining. Like I told my wife didn't watch the game last night, and all I had to say was, well, obviously because we're a hockey family. I was like, you won't believe this. Colorado lost Game 7 last night with 10 minutes left. They were up 2-0. She's like, oh my gosh, what happened?
I,
You
and
know?
it. I mean, you could make a script of, like I said, Mikko Rantanen, former Avalanche guy, like to put this in the minds of all the people. He was on the team.
Yeah.
He won a cup there. He spent 10 years there. He was a stud there. He's on the other side. Like make it like a story, and they don't do it. I think people on Twitter do a better job with content
They
than
do.
ESPN. Like there's good tweets, there's good like hype videos, stuff like that. TikTok people way better than professionals like
Yeah.
networks. It's crazy.
I agree. They could say,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, Matt Duchene used to play for the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep.
Now he's on Dallas, and look, he's moving on
It,
to the."
it's only good for the hockey people. It's the hockey community. That's what it's good for. It's not they're not reaching out to people like normal just sports likers. They're
Yeah,
you got to grab them. Like Game 7 is playoffs. That's what brings out the best in hockey. All the guys skate their asses off. There's hits. There's big goals. I don't like the penalty calls with 3 minutes left on a tie game. But I mean, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Got to call it. I thought it was a little close. I think that Jack Drury took down Sagan. I don't know. Like
oh
sometimes
yeah,
that shit happens in the playoffs. At least take them both. You know what I mean? But Rantanen ended up, like you said, sneaking in there and giving Johnson a one-timer pass, and he buried it. That was it. And then we
actually
spent
the pass came from Duchene.
Oh, did it? Oh, I thought it was
Yeah,
Rantanen. Rantanen assisted though. I think
he
he was
did. Yeah, he did.
secondary. Yeah. So and then the next 3 minutes, the puck's in the zone, the Dallas zone, because Brock Nelson doesn't lose a faceoff.
Right.
Old man Winter, like this guy's got gray hair. But damn, dude,
he was going at it, man. He won like 3 in a row.
that's why they brought him in. It's crazy. And I saw a tweet. Actually, the Lion sent. I saw a tweet he sent me, and there was a comment. I still can't believe Team USA picked this old man over the legend Patrick Kane in the
Yeah.
Four Nations and stuff. I'm like, well, maybe they picked him for the faceoffs, because
Yeah.
he was clutch that last minute. He was clutch.
All right. To finish up the podcast, the Leafs are going into the offseason. They've got a big question mark with Mitch Marner, but they've got Matthew Knies that needs a new contract as well. What do you think, man? Do you think Marner's gone?
Uh, this is tough. I think it's going to depend a lot on this series and how it goes, because usually he's the whipping boy when things aren't going right. I sent you the stats to Matthew Nyes, and I think he's 22. I think he's going to get a similar Wyatt Johnston deal like in Dallas.
Okay.
And you got to look if you're the Leafs. Do I want the young gun, or do I want Mitch, who's 28, scored 100 points last year, really good player, big money. He's probably going to get 13 million a year. If he wants to, he probably could get more. Or do we pay Matthew Nyes, say 7 or 8 for 8 years? He's going to be a good goal scorer. He's probably, you got Nylander, you got Matthews, and he would probably be with the other scoring threat. But I think if you keep Nyes, Marner's gone. If you keep Marner, someone's going to offer sheet Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
And we're Chicago guys. We kind of would hope to see Davidson be a little aggressive on one of them. If it goes either way with the Leafs, I'd like to see KD do something. We got our pick back for offer sheets. We're going to have to spend a lot to get him, but clearly he could score. I think he almost put in 30. And I think, Bedard needs a stud to play with, whether it's a scorer like Matthew Nyes or another playmaker like Marner.
Do you think that? Oh, back into. I'm gonna go into Dom's questions here.
Oh,
Is
boy.
it time for robot referees like MLB wants to implement in the NHL?
Yes. I think when it comes to challenging a goal that's close with like did the puck cross the line or was there goalie interference, I think there should be a machine. You got to have some human, like if a defenseman pushes a player into your goalie and it's a clear push into the goalie, I still think it should be a good goal. They talk about it on Sirius XM, the eye in the sky ref. I think that's time that the league does something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I agree 100%. Um, can we consider the Brandon Hagel trade finally be considered an official win, having Sasha Bozever and Oliver Moore on the come up?
Well, I don't know about that yet. I think it's a win, right? Maybe. Well,
Maybe a win as their development so far.
since Hagel's gone to Tampa, they haven't done well.
Yeah.
He for individual success. Yes, Hagel he's lighting it up. He had a great year this year. I think right now Tampa's still winning, but it's going to take time to see who truly wins.
Okay. Um, what is the biggest tourist trap in Chicagoland? I will say the Bean.
I don't spend too much time in the city unless it's for work. I might have to pass on this one.
All right. Does Charlie McAvoy have a legitimate gripe about the Four Nations, or does he come off like a pussy? I think he comes off like a pussy.
You know what? He played awesome when he
He
played.
did.
He was throwing his body in front of McDavid. I thought this guy was a beast. I was like, damn, this guy's going all out for the USA. And yeah, of course you're going to be upset when you get hurt, but I don't know. He came to
It cost
talk.
me so much. I don't know. It's going to cost me so much.
Well, he's still getting paid.
Yeah, he got
And
paid.
He's very lucky he's getting paid because some of these teams could have said, "Hey, I don't want you to go. I don't want you getting hurt because I got to eat your check. So there's a rich billionaire still paying your contract for you to not play.
Yeah, but they
So
get to write that off though at the same time.
sure, but if I got hurt at work, like doing somebody else, like doing a the same thing at a different job, I wouldn't get paid for it. He's very blessed that he's a millionaire and has. Of course, you're still a human. You're hurt. You got to fight through the rehab and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
to cry into the media and then you're upset they traded Marchand and how the year's gone. Sometimes it happens. You have a bad year. You get hurt. Look at Landeskog. I mean, this poor dude hasn't played in 1,000 games. He's gone through so many rehabs with his knees, skates. He's not ready yet. And this guy, I've never heard him bitch or cry once. He ends up coming back and being a huge factor, actually. I know you're not a fan of him, but he looked good in the games he played. So I
Yeah,
think
I'm
he's a
not.
pussy. Yeah, I'll say he's a pussy.
I just didn't like. He just comes off like, hey man, like you went out there and like you played your heart out.
He was great.
I was gonna say like, you look like a gladiator out there, and then he
Yeah.
comes out afterwards and like he's saying all these things, and it's like, hey man, you had the opportunity to go. Like the Boston wasn't making the playoffs this year.
No.
You know,
That was the closest playoff hockey you got.
yeah,
And
there's
he
no
gave it
way
his
that
all.
team was making the playoffs. No
He
way.
was a monster when he played. He shut McDavid down, put a beautiful hit in front of him. Of
Yeah,
course, I don't want to see the dude suffer with injury, but I thought he was awesome. I actually was like, dude, this guy's a beast. I enjoy watching him play.
yeah, I did
And
too.
just to say like, oh, the experience sucked, and well, yeah, of course you got hurt, but come on, you represented your country, and dude, those guys rallied behind him after.
Yeah, they
We're
did.
playing for Charlie right now, dude. He was a monster for us, and he's emotional. He just had his first kid, and stuff like that. A big injury. He's got to fight through it. He lost the season and stuff, but he'll be back. It's not like you're forced out of you got to retire.
Yeah.
You're still good, dude. You're gonna play.
Yeah. Well, all right, everybody. That's all that we got for you this one. We're gonna have more playoff coverage. We'll try to come back to you with another podcast next week. We want to thank you for listening. If you guys have any questions, hit us up on X, and we'll put it in the podcast. We like talking to people. So that's all that we got for you on this one. We'll catch you on the next one. This is a Tomahawk. We're out of here.